Yes, the good morning topic today that we're going to be touching on comes after a blog I did this week called Mr. and Mrs. Politician. Are you going to hell? This is now blog 036, BE0036. Now, for years, I've been looking at the political uh, landscape, and I tend to examine things and look at things and I question things. I am not one to just accept what any everybody says. Don't care how titled they are. Doctor, university grad, PhD, titles mean nothing to me. And quite frankly, the Father that we serve, titles means nothing to us. To him, sorry. Title means nothing to our Father. When you stand before God, your PhD will mean nothing. Nothing. What matters is the content of our character, how we treat our fellow man, and how we treat our God. Right? So I looked at this thing called politics, and in the Western world, I hear about communism, I hear about this tag and this tag, and I call them tags. Because what I do, I break down things to the basic level. Just as a technician, I learned to do that. You got very technical, high technical systems that you work on. You have to break it down to the simplest level, especially if you got a problem and you need to solve a problem. You need to break it down to the simplest level. And I do the same thing with these topics. Now, I started the blog. I went straight at it. Another thing, I don't pull punches. I go straight at it. I don't care if you are my friend or don't want to be from my friend anymore. We as people have to stay with the truth. We have to speak the truth. If we serve God, we should understand what that means. He is the God of truth. He's the God of light. So I go straight at things with the truth. Like me for it or don't like me for it. And that's how it starts. That's how I start off the read. The most important thing in life that people do not like to think or talk about is death and hell. It is also said we are in the last days, and it is not only in time, but in each life that ends. Why? Because today may be our last day. You should know the same today. We are here. Tomorrow we are gone. This page is prepared out of a heart of love, and my prayer is that you at least understand how it works. So that's where this conversation is guided. Is starting from, and I will go into my position now as it relates to politics. My position as it relates to voting. Now, as I said before, I looked at this and questioned this thing called politics for quite a while. And in 2026, we have an upcoming um, voting coming up. We call it now, and we call it now, guys. We call
Elections,
voting again? Huh?
elections,
Elections.
elections
Yeah,
in Barbados.
my mind's so far from this now. I don't remember what it is, man. Elections. So I have made a decision. I will not be voting. I will not be part of the process. And I call it process, but really, what it really is, I see it now as a game. You got two sides on two sides of the fence, getting ready to battle or fight, and these are the terms that they use. And actually, there's a meme going around where they actually show Prime Minister Mia Motley and Mr. Ralph Torn in a ring getting ready to fight. No, this is every and this is it. You get supporters fighting and fighting each other and challenging each other, and you see this kind of behavior every 3 to 4 years, and it is nonsense. This democratic system, touted by America on high, city on a hill, light like a city with a light on a hill, a beacon everybody should strive for. You know, it is utter nonsense. This division, this divides a country. And we know this all too well. We know this very well. Listen to this carefully. Divided we fall, united we stand. Or united we fall, divided united we stand, divided we fall. That's it, plain as day.
I disagree.
But
I disagree, bro.
we enter into this thing that divides us, and it goes further as years go along, and it gets progressively worse. You get one side sucking salt for 4 or 5 years, waiting to get back their power, and then it goes back the seesaw. But now, if you master the system, then it getting back, you get washed out, and there's the situation we have now. A 30 to love, right? One side. And you just, I can pause there. I'll pause there for now. By just showing how the division, where the division has brought us. And everybody's sucking salt. But go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I gotta say sorry too. It's just that I want to get this point out. I need to get this point out with a query, right? As student was external, the powers that are external to Barbados, right? Who calls the shots within Barbados?
You're asking a question? Who calls
I'm
the
asking a
shots?
question.
Who calls the shots in Barbados?
Yeah, excluding external influences. Who calls the shots in Barbados?
What kind of shots you talking about?
Who made the big decisions? Who made the big decisions in Barbados?
Well, listen to me. We can end up going down a very dark trail if we go in that direction. Because in my opinion, in my analysis of the system, these people that we call prime ministers are nothing more than puppets. I believe the true shots or the true decisions are made outside of all the other countries. It is made in the hands of the powers of this world.
Wait. I
That's my
tell you,
opinion.
excluding external influences.
But how you can get rid of external influences when external influences are directly in charge of these
I
people we
know,
call
Trevor. All right, this is the answer.
All right, go
You
ahead.
have
Give Leon a chance. No, give Leon a chance. We want to hear his voice. We don't want
No,
to go too far.
I actually want to hear what Roger's saying, please.
Yeah, but you don't want to give any comment, any
I will get there, but I want to hear what Roger's saying. It is very interesting.
Okay, Roger, go ahead, Roger.
You have very powerful, rich individuals, and I would put in bold rich individuals in Barbados, right? That direct these parties. There's no difference, in my opinion, between B, D, or X. Ultimately, they have to bow to the private sector. When they got the private sector behind them, they could do more. They're more effective at bribing people, paying for votes. And when they do that, they have to answer to the piper. These are puppets, not only to external influences, but the people in Barbados that got money.
All right, listen. We're gonna say this is alleged that there is vote buying. It is alleged. Right? My position is this,
Oh,
right?
Lordy.
My position is this. It does happen. Who does it happen with? I don't know, because I have not done an investigation. I've heard accusations. I've
I
heard in
know.
some countries. Hold on. I heard in some countries, proof has been come brought forward. But for now, my position, our position, is an alleged. But I believe that
It did,
yes, it's alleged, but I believe it does happen.
I know about three, or I know about three that eyewitnesses told me about it.
I have no doubt, brother. I have no doubt about you. But you hear that? They told you. Have you seen it for
But
yourself? Has it been
I haven't.
investigated?
I
But
don't
anyhow,
want to call. I can
but
just
we move,
use the
let's move
initials.
forward.
Yeah,
Let's move forward.
wait. KS said that he was going to the area that he was canvassing for, right? I guess this might have been the day of the election or the day before. And he see a big crowd of people. A big,
Roger, I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it.
no,
But
no,
you
no,
move
no. You
forward.
say alleged. You say alleged. He saw a big crowd of people and I said, "We waiting here for you. We waiting here for you. So and so give you this much. How much you gonna give us?"
Roger, he has made that statement. It has not been proven in a court of law if it is true or not. Because he may be doing his own little thing to cauliflock the system. But remember what he said. I frame this politics as a game.
You broke up just now.
Somebody phone ringing.
Sorry about that.
Right, I frame this thing as a game. Every 4 to 5 years, big fight. Every 4 or 5 years, power stays or power is transitioned to the next side. But at the end of the day, the entire country gets worse. So what I did in my blog, I brought in an example of what I think is where we should go in. And that is the direction of dictatorship. Now we have dictatorship has been painted red. You made the mention the word dictatorship and people just run for cover, want to destroy you or they want to destroy you. Dictatorship. I speak now to the believers. I speak now to the believers, not the people of the world. The people of the world are going to hell because they have no foundation in Yeshua, Jesus. I speak to the believers. Yeshua, Jesus, when he comes back to this earth, will be ruling as a dictator. He will dictate. The Bible says he rules as a rod of iron. He'll be ruling with like a rod of iron. And iron and soft he's going to be very strict according to his law. So think about that. Now there are three dictatorships right now that I am admiring, and these are in Africa. I think they call it AES states. I speak on a correction here. But one man I will bring to the front of it is this guy called Ibrahim Traoré. He's a dictator. But this is the difference. It is not just any dictator. It is a righteous dictator. And I draw that out in the blog. If you have a righteous dictator, a man who is interested in developing his country, a man who is interested in bringing the entire country together, not just one party, not my party. This is before we. Just beware. He bring an entire nation under him. He's not interested in money, and this is what draw me to him. And when he speaks, the man speaks with wisdom. When he took power, he didn't look for no increase or no big car or this or that to enhance himself. He was about the people. I am here for you. And let me show you this. He's not Yeshua. He's not Jesus. But Yeshua did the same thing. Yeshua came here and gave himself and poured himself out for the people. When they wanted him, he was there. When they wanted healing, he was there. He gave of himself. He did not come to enrich himself on the people. And that is the problem that we have in this world. These people are not dictators. They're democratic elected in a game set up to make people, the population or the nations, poor, dirt poor. So getting back to my point, I made a decision in 2026 to not be part of the game anymore. I am now 63, going 64. I am going to talk and speak as to what I believe is best for this country, Barbados. It will be the truth. In my opinion, it is the truth. It will be far better. We as a nation are going into a bucket of debt, serious debt. When you're in debt, you try to stay afloat. We ain't staying afloat. We are at the bottom of the ocean. And we continuing in the same game, and just every 4 to 5 years, the same thing. Look at America, trillions of dollars in debt. What does the saying say? If you're doing something and it ain't working, do something else. If you continue doing the same, hoping that things will get better, and you're going down and down and down and getting worse, you're calling a madman. You're crazy. That's my voice. Go ahead, guys. And I hear Leon disagree with me. I am waiting. I'm listening to Leon.
Good morning, everyone. No, there's so much behind all of this, and I have to try not to rant and lose focus on this one. No, something just came to me. There have been protests in Barbados, marches against what is happening. Groups call what is the something opposition against what has been happening for the past couple of years.
The loyal opposition.
Good, the loyal opposition. No, there are people who are willing to be the voice for other people. They don't get into forefront politics, but they speak out for the people, which is essentially what politicians are elected to do. And they gain their power really and truthfully from the masses, the public. That's who put them there, and they so-called go on the public's behalf. What I have been seeing throughout the past couple of years is that it is not about the public. It is about what people want to do. And most of the time, what I've been seeing, the trend, is that things are happening, and we, the public, that they're doing on our behalf, do not know. So it's only until you have an opposition or somebody is in a position to leak or say something that you find out oftentimes it is too late. So my thing is, sitting and not voting, it automatically would say to me the same thing. You're either with me or against me. But you put yourself in a neutral position where this can continue to go on. You did not even give it a chance that maybe others who may be like-minded will say the same thing, and it may be already saying is in this person's favor to be elected. But however, the problem is the opposition to be elected that can speak out or to let you know what is happening, because ultimately prophecy says that believers will be persecuted. And so throughout the years, I have heard churches say that open airs, they can't do open airs or after a certain time. I mean, the length of an open air can't go past, I think, is 3 hours. Can't be no more than X amount of nights because of the public. But yet you can hear people playing whatever parties going on to whatever hour in the morning, and that's what's happening. So if depending on who becomes elected, it makes us, the believers' lives more harder. Because if it's not a righteously minded government, then they're going to do righteously minded things against the righteous minded folks. So being believers. So my thing is, regardless if it is 29-1, 28-2, there needs to be some kind of opposition regardless, that you can know what is going on, that at least you have a fighting chance to know 30-0, they do whatever they feel like, regardless whoever power is in there. So my thing is not necessarily on the individuals, is that morals and as a believer being able to live knowing that you're not going to be persecuted just yet. It's going to come, that you have a chance, because things are done too much in secret in this country. That is my take. So whatever person, whoever, we have these people canvassing, going out, representing constituency, and you know nothing about them. You never heard of them, but Bajans are afraid of new faces. But you have old faces that you do not see. You don't hear from them. They don't represent, quite frankly. So my thing is, you need to be able to have a voice, and you don't need to be a politician to have a voice. But there are only a few that are called to stand up for this, and it does not take a journalist anymore. It takes a camera, microphone, or somebody lobbying, and that is politics in a different form. But we have people going out there to turn this thing into a job, and they're doing just what it is. You get into the job, you say whatever you need to say. The thing is about who can give the best speech. And oftentimes it's just because their picture is just underneath another person's picture. Is no longer about the people. People think is rosy and is nice. Is it really? What would lead somebody to get into politics to represent people? Or can't they? Is that they can't stand what's happening, or is it a job, a
It's a
paycheck?
job. It's job. It's money. It's fame. It's fame. It is satisfaction of flesh. All of those things.
So
And
before what I'm saying is that you sweeten up people. You hold some picnics. You hold some. I don't even can't remember. Not cavalcades. The ones on the truck. Can't remember the name. Motorcades. All
Yeah.
kinds of stuff that people could hear some music and jump up and scream and get some food and that's that. But really, are they being fed?
All right. Listen to this. We have limited time,
But that's
and
that's that's my piece so
we
far.
see we see the problem, right? And back in the day, when I used to manage sections, I tell people, if you see a problem, do not come to me with only the problem. Bring the solution. You are in it. You're the best person to find the solution. So when people come to me, they come to me with the problem and they come to me with a solution. We here right now on this podcast know the problem. Tons of problems. And I square this not on the people, but the system. Back and forth, back and forth. Leon, you made a point there. Still vote because you have an opportunity to change the situation that you're in, correct?
Correct. That way
Good,
you can
good,
at least, rather than having to sign
good,
petitions that may fall on
good,
deaf ears.
good. Yes, you sign. You vote. But what happens? The other people take over, and in 3 to 4 years, you find yourself back in the same situation. And before, don't say nothing. Right now, St. Vincent just had an election, and the people get in power now. Let me tell you, and it happens over and over again. They start good, and then they start to look mirror image the party that just put out, either in 3 to 4 years or the next term, it repeats itself.
But Trevor,
Let me submit. Hold on. Let me submit to you this. If a party that really wants to change the direction of this country, say, look, Barbados, this system ain't working for us as a people. The only body that benefits from is the ones in the seat leading the country. That's the only people that benefit. They get in their Mercedes, they're getting their BMWs, roll up the windows, and darken the lenses, and darken the screen, the windshields. Huh? And
I
this
disagree.
wait a minute, they're smiling. That's the only body that benefit from this system. Don't fool
No,
it.
no, Trevor. No, I told you about the elites in this country.
Wait,
Those folks are not most of them. Those folks are not divided,
but
and they benefit. They benefit a lot more.
hold on. Let me just finish my point. If someone says to me, if a party says to me, this system ain't working, we need to change it. Let us move towards a righteous dictatorship, or whatever you want to call it, to make yourself feel comfortable. Because remember what the word of God says: He's coming, and He can rule as a rod and an iron. He coming.
Trevor,
Abraham Torre. One second. Abraham Torre set up a righteous government,
but
a
Trevor,
righteous dictatorship, and then
Trevor,
leading by example, and it's showing up a whole set of other African leaders under the democratic system. And
Trevor,
if a party comes and say to me, "Do we moving towards? We can, as a party, will move, change this direction, this game that was given to us by a bunch of white people many years ago to control us." I will vote. I will vote because I want to see. I want to see the change. And this is the solution out of this mess that we're in. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, not interrupting what Roger's saying, but 30-0 is a righteous dictatorship. 30-0 means that the public back what is happening. That is what it means. It is a righteous dictator. We agree and we are okay with what is happening, regardless. That is what it means.
Listen. Listen carefully. Let me speak for at least 5 more minutes. We got at least this is supposed to over by 45 minutes. We are at 44 minutes. Let me make this good point here. Again, people ain't gonna like me, and I don't care. I am here to serve my God and serve Him truthfully. Because at the end of my days, I want to hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. All right? The system takes a group of people to vote for who sounds the best. I can restate that, and I can restate it a little differently. The system, to establish the leaders of the system takes the people who are unqualified, make the decision in their numbers who should lead this country. So what you end up with, a whole bunch of unqualified people who act out as criminals.
All right.
If you go on the blog, I give examples of what the criminal activity is. I can share some more. Right? These people are not qualified. If you have an organization, do you get the employees to vote who's the best person to lead, to be CEO or managing director? No, you have a committee that understands what it is in leadership, understand what it is, not just look at qualifications or how the person sounds, but how that person has performed in their own life. Has this person proven themselves? I can link this back to what Yeshua said. He said, by their fruits you should know them. If a committee was set up as organizations do, and they look at the qualifications and the fruits or the performance or the fruits that these so-called leaders have, they fall short and are wanting. A lot of these guys have not started a company, a business. They have not grown a business. They have not worked to hire people, the best people. They have not worked to do this or to do that. They have not proven themselves, but they're hired because the people like how they sound. And quite frankly, a lot of these people that are so-called politicians, they speak well. They speak well, they in and out of shit. If they find themselves in shit, they'll speak well to get out of it. But that's okay, because the majority of them are attorneys, they are lawyers, they are crafty, they're tricky, they are lawyers.
Trevor.
All I would say, wait, let me say this. All I would say is, on a dictatorship rule, a dictatorship of common sense, pattern similar to how you would run a company or organization, where you have people who are skilled to look, when they look at their candidates, they would look to see the fruits or the performance levels they have in their life. They will look to see, and again, this comes back to their moral position, where they stand in God's eyes. Because you don't want none of crooks running your country. You want people who have a foundation in the God that we know that we should follow.
Trevor.
Yeah, go ahead. Time is running out. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
no, I think we need additional time, but this
I agree.
caused me to
Okay,
think about
pause. Just a little housekeeping here. It's no 32 minutes. So we give it another 15 minutes if it needs to take that. Oh, go ahead. Another 15 minutes. Go ahead.
during my recent talk with an atheist, and he said that basically believers operate based on Bible rules, and that does not govern everyone else. So there is something called laws and rules. And if we stick to a set of rules and the world doesn't, then obviously we are constrained. And try not to lose my train of thought there earlier. In terms of righteousness, the average Barbadian, or people for that matter, because you can see in the US, they really don't care about righteousness. The world is really run by a minority group. And there's a powerful minority group in the shadows, which is what Roger was speaking of. You don't see their faces, but their money is saying. You wrote a paper on what influences you, or people for that matter. And to most people, things look like it's going really, really good. To the uneducated, to the basic simple person, things look rosy. People working, this thing is functioning, etc., etc. But in the long run, in terms of morals, on a downgrade, you can see the violence, you can see the schools, you can see all these different situations, as you mentioned, problems. And in terms of solutions, sometimes the only solution is really God, to be honest. But these people do not get there on their own. And as a chess player, I remember if a chess takes two people, in this case, it could be leadership or opposition, a defender and say, and if my opponent does not show up within half an hour, I win by default. So why should we let whoever group, be it this side, be it the next side, I'm calling no names, win by default? That's essentially what we're doing. And then we sit down and have to become opposition illegitimately or whatever reason to try to take back what we could have given ourselves a chance at doing from the very beginning by just showing up.
Well, Leon, don't misunderstand me. Hear me clearly. I will vote if a party decides we can change this system.
No,
Because
but
continuing
essentially,
this system is madness.
yes, but
Crazy.
essentially, as Roger said, we do not know who is behind whatever thing. And honestly, looking at it holistically, the powers at be in the shadows, just as Roger said, the private sector, the money that essentially has the people who have the say, because these people can put a squeeze and silence. There's somebody behind Trump, and he called out her name.
Obviously.
You understand? So then when somebody new gets in there and they think, yes, I can do all these things and stuff, then you got somebody that can come and say, hold on. But you can't come out in the public and say this is whatever. But at least the public outcry can carry a sway, which is the protests, the marches. But it's still to me, you still gotta give whatever. But if you see what's going on, even be if a different person, but at least a different person that at least they may possibly, because we believe in God. God means hope, that it can turn around.
All right, listen. So you will believe, rather than voting for someone who said they're gonna actually make the change, scrap that and just vote for the people to continue?
No, I don't. I send for the people to continue, but I'm just saying the system needs revamping. Yes,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, but
Wait a minute. Will the party take that position? Because these parties love it, because when they take power, they take control and they enrich themselves pretty much in the same way that everybody has done before them.
But let's
It continues. I am
let us
continuing. I will
but let
solve
us
the
hope,
problem.
but let us hope that our prayers, right? Whoever becomes whatever, be it current, be it opposition, whoever, that God will take hold of whoever, and that it will be a turnaround. Because if we are the minority, because there's the few and there's the many, and we believers are very few. So I realize that the minority in the world, you need to make sure you continue your existence. So you gotta get it and do something, even if it's in the shadows, to enable that.
Right now,
So
listen. Right now, I'm not in the shadows anymore. And
so
my position is push for the party that will want to change, that will commit, and just don't do the rest. Say something today and then don't do it tomorrow. We get rid of these people.
But the thing is with this, at this point, sadly to say, it seems to be a game.
It is a game.
You understand?
It is a game.
Good. And with this game, regardless of whatever, you need to align whatever players or strategy, regardless, right? As human beings, that will come out very advantageous. We can't say for the majority is sin.
Listen.
So when whoever gets in there, they don't even fight and say, okay, we going on. Yeah, man, we can shut down churches. Churches churches gotta pay church tax. Some extra something more, something like going on.
All right, let me just speak to this part here. You made a point there. I'm not telling people to become Christians because I'm not a Christian, and you all two guys know that. I do not follow Christianity.
I'm not advocating that either. But what I'm saying,
hold it. Christianity is a religion. It's religious. It has become religious. Following God is about following His law. Yeshua said in John 14:15, if you love me, keep my commandments. And His commandments is based on law. The law of God, which is the perfect law. Mankind today has moved away from the perfect law. and they've embraced laws that are laws of mischief. Go to my blog and get a little better understanding. I won't go any deeper right now. But we need to change the laws that are righteous and in keeping with God's way, also known as the way. That's what we need to do as a people. And new leadership must understand this. That is why, again,
But
let the new next party that wants my vote say we want to change from this game, move away from this madness that sucks a nation dry, and we will try to pattern. It doesn't even have to be exact because they don't even know if Abraham Torre is actually 100% on target. But right now, what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, the man is running a righteous dictatorship. He is bringing his people together. He's not entering back into this game again. It doesn't seem that way. But let him set up a system that will enable the continuation. So if anything happens to him, it can continue under someone else different that has the same mindset.
all right. But there's certain things I would love to say, but I rather it not go on the record or be recorded for that matter. But we can see, right? We can see. I am out there on a daily basis. We can see, as you mentioned, the fruits of the labor firsthand. Is not
we should look at the fruits. We should look at the fruits.
We can see the state of the country or republic as it is called now. We can look at the constitution where is no things that were set out, laws and what's not that have been changed or male not involved in my opinion. We can see where everything is going should it continue the way it is. And by keeping silent, I am agreeing to whatever happens that I am okay with it, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
I'm voting for it. It says I'm okay with this system. I will stay in the system. Nah, not me. So I'm voting because I don't want to stay in the system. I'm not voting because I don't want to stay in the system.
So whoever be it having opposition, I mean an opposition chosen by the people, not somebody crossing the floor. Because when somebody cross the floor from a 30-0, there's not 100% trust behind that person because you don't know what strategy that they're leading with.
No, you made that point. Sorry to cross you, Leon, but no, you made that point. I mean, you got 2 minutes or 3 minutes left.
So my thing is...
Hold on. Let me make this point. I want to make this a very important point. This game is set up that only certain people can play. If you are outside the game, you do not get that position. You have to take a position of independence, and that independent position only survives if the people put you back. But what happens is that you get out there as a one man or one woman, trying to do your thing, standing up to speak for 3 and 5 hours and all kind of foolishness like that, just because at your time you're the only opposition, and the game, and you really can't make a difference because you don't really have that degree of influence or money that these other parties would have. But yeah, if you're in the game, you stay in the game, you get a little pick here, you get a little raise here, get a nice position here. But if you don't speak and talk like how they talk, you out. And you end up where Mr. Thorne ended up.
I don't know what reason he ended up where he ended up. Because
he couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore.
No, he has not. He has not said.
Huh?
He has never said. He said when in good time he will review why he did that.
He can't take it anymore. Let's leave it there.
Right,
go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, most of the time, as of recently, not that I'm not no pro nor no against in this case for pertaining to him. But most people say he's this thing or the next thing. I said, but that the results the guy has had pushing back certain bills or whatever. No, but it's just think. So he should sometimes think of his behavior and the words that are coming out of his mouth.
Okay, listen,
Because
listen,
because
listen, listen,
no
listen,
no
listen. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I don't want to get into the people. I want to deal with the system.
no because
Focus
look,
on the
Trevor,
system.
I just want to raise a point from this week, and I've told somebody I could be feeding all the people in Bridgetown out of my own pocket in the public's eye. But if I'm seen in Nelson Street dealing with prostitutes at night, they will never remember the good that I'm doing. And the scripture speaks about not letting your good deeds evil be spoken of. So we have a charge where we have to be held accountable for everything that we do and what comes out of our mouths.
Very true.
I think that it need more time with this matter travel, probably about half an hour, maximum half an hour.
Listen,
That is true.
we just touching the water a little bit, but y'all
But
make
they
your
got
point.
you only got about 2 weeks, if so much. And
Well,
election call.
we can have another meeting on it, but it depends on how much people
Well,
hear this,
I
or how
I ain't
much
got no
people they should
problem
share.
talking. I like to say something. They might take me about 3 minutes or
All
four
right, you go
minutes,
ahead.
right?
You go ahead. You close it now. No, at least. All right, we'll move it to an hour. We
Okay.
got another 50, you got another,
I
we have another 15 minutes. Go ahead.
you have touched on it. Many years ago, a man said that too many people are allowed to vote, right? And I found that strange, right? Too many people is voting. I made the point that when you voting, somebody that is allowed to vote should be able to should be have common sense. That's what we say. I think you might use educated at the time. I believe you should have common sense, and you're not prone to being bribed, right? Granny sang a song. Granny sang a song called "Beef and Biscuits,"
listen, listen,
right?
listen, listen.
Let me
One
finish.
thing.
Let me finish. Right. So voters should have. Let me put it this way: there should be in support of Proverbs 9:10. There should be about wisdom and being righteous. Those people should have the green light to be able to vote. The next thing, the next thing is when it comes to the top leader. I want to get along. I don't want to get too deep in this thing. Before, when we got a health challenge, I be running to the doctor and stuff like that, right? And then I realized that the Bible. I remember telling Bible talk about milk and honey, landfill and milk and honey. And when you go and you research um real properly produced milk and honey, genuine honey, there are a lot of whole benefits. And they come to the conclusion that it's best for us instead of trying to improve or take away from the Bible. Wherever we find something in the Bible, blueprint in the Bible, follow it. So just today or from yesterday, I saying that in the Bible when it comes to groups and stuff like that, right? That to be led, nation be led. You had a prophet. A prophet would have been involved, right? The prophet normally a prophet would be involved, and they would choose who would be the king of the nation. Okay. Ideally, we should be able to home in on a prophet in this country. Have the prophet identify who's supposed to be the next leader, who's supposed to take the people, to the promised land. And that that and I think Leon talk about it. That is that might be too much of a stretch, right? That may be too much of a stretch in terms of that being fulfilled. So if we could get people educated to the point where they know that hey, Um, you know, we will have somebody that's about truth leading us. Their first priority is truth and following truth. I believe that will make a difference.
Now you get into how we would approach this approach in terms of you relating it to the Bible and what Scripture teaches in terms of prophets being used. Um,
Yeah, and I think they tell you about truth. Having a leader that is
wait,
about
wait, wait,
truth,
wait, wait,
Trevor.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
I
I've been in business for the past 30 plus years. All we need to do is set up Barbados like an organization, like a private organization. How private organizations are set up. You have a board, and the board decides because the board is trained. The board is not about 30 words. People are about 30 words. The board is not about your qualifications and how you turn up. The board is
um,
about,
uh-huh.
let me rephrase that. Hold on. The board is not about, sorry, people are about how people sound and how people look and so on. But the board is about the fruits. What does this person show? What this person has done? Is this that person successful in their own life? Is this person all about themselves? So a whole set of criteria that you can look at. You can look at to see if this person meets the measure, and if they do, then you put them in. This is how you get the best people. No, right now what we get is the best speakers. People that can speak well and captivate you. I think about this. This is how I think about it. These people get into law school because the majority of them are attorneys and lawyers. But people get in front of a mirror and practice and practice and practice, and then they come to the people well practiced, but they don't have no depth when it comes to knowing how to deal with people, how to deal with problems. And I'll just give this one example. If you feed people fish, you can feed them for a day. When you can teach people how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. That's always been my approach. Not the politician.
I,
Politician is giving. My approach would be not to do that because
I
you have to
want
allow people. No, you have to allow people to develop themselves.
I want to weigh in on this for a moment.
Teach
And
people how to do things. And I can end on that for now. And Leon,
I,
you have the last word, and then closing off
yeah,
this.
I just want to share because we're scripture based, and
And that's the
during the
best.
time
That's the best place to be.
during
Go ahead.
during the time leading up to Christ's crucifixion, he went before Pontius Pilate, a Roman. He was not a Roman, but he went before the governing body. The governing body found no fault of him, but the fate of the Lord was left in the hands of the public. They chose the criminal, Barabbas. The Lord being perfect, healing people, doing all of these things by the masses, because Pontius said he washed his hands of it. Barabbas was freed, and Christ ended on a cross. And I would like you just to take a moment and digest that.
Yeah, again, those guys that helped to put Yeshua on the cross, I
I mean,
understand based on historical record, these guys were paid. The fellas that was running the Pharisees and then guys that was running the temple, they paid these fellas off. I mean, the crowd ain't got the crowd is about money. The crowd is about what getting out of it. Wasn't in it for me. That's the crowd. That's the mentality of the leaders, majority leaders, and that's the mentality of the crowd.
so
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 it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You only the people that really
in,
want to do it for the
in,
others.
the, in the mindset of the average Bajan, it is about money.
If Christ was listen, if Christ was alive today, he's telling me what happened. These people that run this world, these people that are in the world would crucify him all again. Would crucify him all over again. Because they ain't getting what they want for themselves. It's a selfish world. When we get to the point where our minds are selfless, the better it is for us. When we start to help others, the better it is for us. It doesn't make sense to some people,
But
but this is what I can get out of it. That don't work.
we,
What
we,
I
would- we
what
would
can I
need
give?
we would need to do a talk on leadership. And the thing is, as believers, it is the world says that we are too soft, right? And sometimes it is honestly true. So
5 minutes left.
therefore, so
5 minutes
therefore,
left.
if me, a believer, had to go on canvas and start to talk about God, time I turn around, all I can hear is crickets. But if another person talk about, man, we can have some parties and some cavalcades and some picnics and what's not, and we can come together and have a good time, and this body can be there singing and bands and this thing and the next thing come down. We can even pay you to come. Everybody can show up. They can be lively. They even want to hear what is matter. The people are about what they're about. You understand?
You come right back to where you come back to my blog. Who influences you? The God
Good.
of this world that only intention is to get people into hell will influence people away from what we talk.
So I,
What we
so
what we do.
I think
So
we should pray.
you have a world that's going to hell. So there's
I
an obvious is obvious what's going to happen.
I think we should start, if we haven't started yet, in some serious prayer. If who is going to vote, hope that the Lord convicts their hearts to put the right place for everybody's sake. Because Revelation 30 and Daniel 7 happening real fast.
Yes, my brother. But
So
my prayer now would be is that a party will see the direction we're in, see the foolish game that we're playing, and want to move to it. Cause it ain't working. Go ahead.
so the party is not going to put itself there. It takes people.
People can't do nothing without people can't do anything without leadership. People need to be led. The righteous leadership. Roger, you got anything to say for the last? We shut it down now. 1 hour. Too long.
Um, board is determined who can be the next pope, right? In the Roman Catholic Church, a committee.
They got a process to establish who will be the next pope. But a lot of politics plays out. A lot of politics goes out behind the doors in the Catholic Church.
So there's a problem then with the board too. If we got a righteous people in a committee, right? Chances are you got a righteous leader being chosen.
Listen carefully. Listen carefully. Moses was doing everything. Moses then was told, "Don't do it. You can't do everything yourself. You gotta appoint people." So you have people being appointed who are known because their fruits were looked at. Fruits. You see, these people choose people based on their fruits. Someone that is not about money. These kind of people are the ones that the people chose, not money lovers. So if there's any choosing by any one person who is righteous and understand the word of God, should take that approach, because the word of God is our copy, the copy that we should follow.
And if you
Um,
can, if you got
a better
right
word,
now,
a better word. It is our we call it, man. What's the better word for not just a copy? It is our rule book, yes, but there's another word I wanted to use. It's our rule book, and that's what we should follow. That's what God gave us to follow.
a
But you,
blue, you
Your
give us
point
a blueprint.
was right. There's a way
but
to,
you,
yeah, the blueprint, exactly the blueprint.
ultimately, you know how Satan works. If he can't beat you, he can join you and confuse you.
Guys, it is 1 hour, 59 minutes, 16, 17. I'm not going to edit this. I'm going to let this go out on the internet as is, because I think this mirrors right across the world, in the democratic world, and it at least will give some people ideas, and or at least a different perspective, and I appreciate it. And I will say now, the Bajan Eagle is out of here. Thank you.